Midnight, the privacy revolution coming to blockchain. I'm Phil Gretsch, and welcome to the 11th hour. Today, we're diving into something that could completely change how we think about privacy on the internet. It's called Midnight, and it's basically the answer to a problem most people don't even realize they have yet. So here's the thing. Every time you use a regular blockchain like Bitcoin or Ethereum, everything you do is completely public. Imagine if every time you bought a coffee, paid rent, or sent money to a friend, everyone in the world could see exactly how much you spent, where you spent it, and how much money you have left. That's basically what happens with most cryptocurrencies today. But Midnight is different. Think of it like having a privacy curtain for your digital life. It uses something called zero-knowledge proofs. And I know that sounds super technical, but stick with me because this is actually really cool stuff. Zero-knowledge proofs are like being able to prove you're old enough to buy alcohol without showing your actual ID. You can prove the thing that matters, your age, without revealing your name, address, or birthday. Pretty neat, right? That's exactly what Midnight does with your blockchain transactions. Now, this isn't just some experimental tech sitting in a lab somewhere. Midnight is built by the same team behind Cardano, one of the biggest blockchain networks in the world, and they're about to do something pretty unprecedented. They're giving away their new tokens called Night to millions of people across 8 different blockchain networks. Here's where it gets really interesting. If you own Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano's ADA, XRP, Solana, Binance Coin, Avalanche, or even Brave's BET token, you're probably eligible for this airdrop. We're talking about 24 billion tokens being distributed to over 30 million wallets. That's massive, possibly the biggest airdrop in crypto history. But why should you care? Well, let's talk about real-world use cases. Imagine you're a small business owner who wants to use blockchain technology for payments, but you don't want your competitors seeing exactly how much money you're making or who you're doing business with. With Midnight, you could have that privacy. Or think about healthcare. Right now, if hospitals wanted to put patient records on a blockchain to make them more secure and accessible, they can't because everything would be public. But with Midnight, doctors could prove that a patient has been treated for something without revealing what that treatment was or who the patient is. Here's another one, voting. We all know how important it is that our votes remain secret, but we also want to make sure elections are fair and transparent. Midnight could let you prove that you voted and that your vote was counted correctly without revealing who you voted for. That's pretty powerful stuff. And here's what makes Midnight's approach really smart. They're not trying to make everything private by default like some other privacy coins that have gotten into trouble with regulators. Instead, they're giving users and businesses the choice. You can keep things private when you need to, but you can also be transparent when the law requires it. Now, let's talk about those tokens they're giving away. Night tokens work differently from most cryptocurrencies. Instead of spending Night tokens to use the network, you hold them and they generate something called dust, which is what actually powers your transactions. It's like having a solar panel that generates electricity instead of having to buy batteries every time you want to use your flashlight. The really clever part is that dust transactions are private by default, so your transaction details aren't exposed to the world. But the Night tokens themselves are public, which keeps everything above board for compliance purposes. It's the best of both worlds. Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, who's leading this project, has been teasing that Night could launch with a market value that would put it in the top 20 cryptocurrencies immediately. If he's right, we're talking about tokens that could be worth around 40 cents each right from the start. But even if you're not interested in the money side of things, Midnight represents something bigger. It's about creating a version of the internet where you have control over your own data, where you can prove things about yourself without giving up your privacy, where businesses can operate transparently with regulators while still protecting their customers' sensitive information. The timing couldn't be better either. With all the data breaches we've been seeing, from social media companies to banks to government agencies, people are finally starting to wake up to just how valuable their privacy really is. And with new regulations like Europe's data protection laws getting stricter, businesses are desperately looking for ways to use technology while still protecting people's privacy. Now, here's what you need to know if you want to participate in this airdrop. The snapshot, that's when they took a picture of who owned which tokens, was already taken back in June. So if you had qualifying tokens in your wallet, then you're already on the list. The actual claim period just opened, and you've got 60 days to claim your tokens. The distribution is happening in phases. First is the glacier drop that's happening right now, where eligible holders can claim their tokens. Then there's something called the scavenger mine, where people who weren't eligible can still earn tokens by contributing to the network. And finally, there's a lost and found phase for people who missed the first window. What's really exciting is that this isn't just about one blockchain. Midnight is designed to work across multiple networks, so it could become like a privacy layer for the entire crypto ecosystem. Imagine being able to use your favorite crypto apps, but with privacy protection built right in. Now, I'm not here to tell you this is guaranteed to make you rich or that you should rush out and buy anything, but what I will say is that Midnight represents a fundamental shift in how we think about privacy, technology, and our digital rights. And the fact that they're giving these tokens away for free to such a broad community suggests they're serious about building something for everyone, not just the usual crypto insiders. Whether you're someone who's been in crypto for years or you're just starting to pay attention to this stuff, Midnight is worth understanding. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about cryptocurrencies. It's about the kind of digital future we want to live in. That's all for today's deep dive into Midnight and the Night Token airdrop. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe because we'll be following this story as it develops. And remember, in a world where your data is increasingly valuable, projects like Midnight aren't just building new technology, they're building new possibilities for privacy and freedom. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.